Fred Gleek here with Bill Deweese. Hey, Bill, how was your week?
Good, Fred. It's good. Partly because the weather's much nicer. Finally, it's like 70 degrees today, so I am woohoo. Plan to swim this weekend, but work was okay. It wasn't as busy as I would have liked it, but did a little over $3,121.
Got it. So now here's my question. Since you started your goal of trying to do 6 grand per week as of the first of the year, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So can you take a look at what you've done thus far and see, are you between 5 and 6 per week averaging?
No, I'm averaging below five because because the strategy was the pruning strategy. I prune back. The way I'm going to do it is I cut out a bunch of old clients. So I've gone from about 8 projects a day to more like 4 on average. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But what I'm doing is I'm cultivating, and you'll see this week, I've actually, even though it's just a $3,000 week, I picked up, I believe it's 3 new clients this week. So I'm doing I believe, I'm sure I'm doing all the right things to position myself that by the end of the year, I will have at least moved ahead of where I was at. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And just to
So
give you, oh, go ahead.
it was fall back to go forward.
Yeah, it was a step back, 1 step back, 2 steps forward.
Yep.
That's the plan. Now I will tell you this: as of today, I have $4,600 worth of work booked for Monday. So I've got more booked for Monday than I did this entire week. So I've been a busy boy in terms of I've had clients contacting me to line up projects. And the reality is I won't get all this done on Monday. Some of this will flow over into Tuesday. But that's what I've got they're all lined up and ready to roll.
And before we forget, I think we should tell everybody about Deweese members, because last night we had one of our bi-monthly sessions, and we did something where we actually were critiquing people's reads.
Yeah.
And if you aren't a Deweese members member, you should get on board, because I'm getting a lot of feedback that people found that session having to do with performance incredibly helpful.
Good. We had a good time, and it was fun to watch talent just take simple direction within a few minutes, completely turn things on its head, and go from a good read to a really great read.
Yeah, that was
So
great.
that was fun.
It's
Well,
up Monday.
it was a slow day on Monday. Well, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong day. No, I did 3 projects. I did a medical ER narration. Also did some CAD training narration, and then did a little corporate thing for a company called FM Global. So that was on Monday. On Tuesday, I did a edumercial for Mississippi State University, like a long form 5-minute thing. I did some training for Sam's Club employees. And then I also recorded a commercial for Rundy Auto Group. I've been working for them for a while now. I don't even know where they're at, but
What this is, Run DMC Auto Group?
yeah, Run DMC Auto Group. RUNDE. What's cool about automotive dealerships is once one uses you, if they like you, they tend to keep coming back to you. So I have a group of auto dealerships that tend to use me on a fairly regular basis. So that's kind of cool.
Sweet.
And that's what I had on Tuesday. So once again, 3 projects, to give you, again, fewer than what I'd been doing this time last year.
Let me interrupt to ask this.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday, for example, you had 3 projects. So how much time were you actually on Tuesday? How much time were you actually recording in the booth? I'm guessing no more than an hour, right?
That'd be about right. So I was doing a lot of auditioning. I did a lot of auditioning this week.
Got it. My point being that if you had an hour in the booth, you had plenty of time for auditions.
Right.
And that, of course, stacks it up. And I think that, if there's one thing that I've seen, and again, I'm not, I'm sort of an onlooker to the voiceover business, but have gotten fairly savvy on what tends to work. Even, by the way, critiquing people on their reads.
Yes, that was great. They're like, oh, brilliant. That was awesome.
So the thing that I've noticed is this, which is, if there's one simple strategy that everybody listening or watching can do with voiceover and with the voiceover business, it is that you need to understand that when you don't have work, you shouldn't be sitting around playing solitaire or being on Facebook. You should be auditioning for jobs so that your calendar is filled in the future.
Absolutely. There is no resting in voiceovers, not between your work hours. I mean, you really have to keep your nose to the grindstone. And if I wasn't auditioning or marketing, I was talking with clients, communicating to set up what was going to be upcoming projects, which is why I'm going to start next week
Yeah.
in a huge way.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And we should also, as yet another unscheduled commercial announcement here, we should let people know about the fact that we have. What is our website for our monthly promotion that we're going to be doing?
DeWeesePromotion.com.
DeWeesePromotionSingular.com. So
Yes.
DeWeesePromotion.com. Every month you're going to see something new there, but this one coming up should be exciting.
Yeah. Are we allowed to say what it is, or just we'll say more later?
I think we should say more later, but people should check DeWeesePromotion.com.
Right. There you go. On Wednesday, I did another Edumercial. And I tell you, by the way, this is a client that I got through Craigslist several years ago. And
Nice.
they specialize, they do these long-form 5-minute Edumercials, and they place regional TV buys for these. And they've had, like, I know Terry Bradshaw is a spokesperson for one, and I forget, they use celebrity endorsers up front, and then they use me and one or two other guys, and we do the voiceover part.
What was the product or service?
On Wednesday, Wilson International. I don't even remember what it was. Some company.
Got it.
So anyhow, but my point being, once you get a client like this, I've made, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars from these guys over the past few years.
Excellent.
Because they just keep using me over and over and over. Okay, I did a B2B explainer video for a company called Adcom on Wednesday. A little bit of training for Southwest Gas, and I picked up a new client. It was an agency up in Wisconsin that found me through Voice 123, and I did the commercial for Pearl Street Brewery. So it's a local brewery there in Wisconsin, of course, known for their beer.
Yes, of course. Yeah, and their cheese.
And their cheese, and of course, and the cheeseheads and Packers. So Thursday, another new client through Voices.com, and this is for Velvet Ice Cream. Velvet Ice Cream is made in Utica, Ohio. Okay. So I remember growing up as a kid in Ohio. I remember Utica. I remember Velvet Ice Cream, and I went to college just a few miles down the street from Utica. So it's kind of like it was through a Columbus, Ohio ad agency. So it's kind of like going back home.
Is Utica then considered in Ohio the ice cream capital of the state?
Oh, I would imagine. It's just a tiny little wide spot in the road, but I'm sure that they would be considered it.
Absolutely.
I also recorded a project for Pantene hair products. This is for the European division.
Very familiar with their product.
That's why your scalp is so smooth and supple.
Exactly.
I did some corporate communication training, narration, and then did a commercial for the North Country Honda dealers on Thursday as well.
Got it.
And then today has been a slow day voiceover-wise. I did some recording for Hitachi. And also, AARP has chosen me to record some commercials and also their on hold stuff. So when those of us who are 50 and older call into AARP, it will be my voice that greets us.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at talking about the whole senior thing. There is in the upcoming World Series of Poker that goes on in Las Vegas. They have two events. One of them is the seniors, and then in a few more years they have the super seniors.
How old do you have to be to do that?
65. You got to be 50 to do the seniors.
65 is super senior?
Yeah, well, I guess, and then they're going to have the super duper seniors at some point.
So why would they segregate by age? Because they assume the older you are, the slower you are? And
I think it's just another way of creating another event.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense.
Modifying their market a little bit.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so now let's talk a little bit about any other lessons that you've learned. One of the things that I learned from someone that you put me in touch with here is that there are a lot of people that are interested in voiceovers that have a background in broadcasting, but never really sort of got into the business. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's awesome for those who want to make that transition, and a lot do. Very few tend to be successful at it only because they don't learn how to make that transition. Because you can't be a broadcaster when you're a voiceover talent. You have to become a voice actor, and it's a completely different animal. And
it's a different set of skills. I mean, if you
is.
think, and we sort of heard some of that on the call last night for the DeWeese members group, which is that if you're kind of an announcer kind of voiceover talent, you can make a really good living. Again, that's not something that you necessarily recommend. You actually have videos on, drop the announcer thing, but the thing that's interesting is they really are two different skill sets: the announcing voice and the ability to act very, very well within a confined space using only your voice.
And here's the mental picture I try to give students when I work with them. Broadcasting or presenting means you are pushing yourself out to an audience. I'm here, and here's the message. But when you're a voice talent, your job is to pull the audience into you, make them lean in and want to hear what you have to say. That's the basic difference.
You know, last night on the call, I thought about a couple things, and maybe we can talk about this before we finish up, which is that I thought that in general, and again, this is my outsider's viewpoint, correct me if I'm wrong, that the two pieces of advice you could give to almost everyone before they even do their first read with you is, number one, make it a little bit softer, and number two, in general, and number two, slow it down a little. Slow it down.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Fred. And that was the advice you gave one of our folks last night, which was spot on. And if you go back and watch, we have a narration workshop video. It's vonarrationsuccess.com. I think the very first thing I said as we all sat together was, before we get into anything else, my first piece of direction for all of you, and I haven't even heard you guys, is slow down. Because I rarely have to tell somebody to speed up, but I always have to tell people to slow down.
Got it.
Because we don't hear ourselves like that. We just don't. We don't realize that we do it.
Now, I know that you're near Chicago. I want to congratulate you on the event that I believe is being celebrated today in the Chicagoland area. I don't know if you're familiar, but it was 30 years ago, either this week or today, that Ferris Bueller's Day Off came out.
Oh, was that? I thought maybe you were going to say Roman Polanski Day, which is a Polish holiday up here. But I love that movie. I didn't realize that this was the anniversary. Yeah,
and apparently somebody who was telling the story on camera on the news today was saying that she bumped into one of the main guys in a grocery store or something, and you could tell it was him.
That's funny. Well, they have a Ferris Bueller tour that you can do, and they will take you around and show you all the sights from the movie, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So any other pearls of wisdom that we can leave our people with?
Aside from what we've said, just remember, new clients are the lifeblood of your business. And I don't get too worried about the number. I mean, I look at the number. It's important, don't get me wrong. But what's really important, I think the real thing to look at, I guess the metric would be how much you're bringing in new business. Because if that continues to grow, you cannot help but to grow. So you'll survive the ups and downs. The fact I did 3,000 instead of 6,000, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that tonight. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather make 6,000. But I've got picked up 3 new clients. I've got over $4,600 of work booked for Monday. So it all evens out over time if you're doing the right stuff.
Yep. And there you have it, folks. Another episode of the podcast as well as the YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. Fred Gleek here with Bill DeWeese.
Thanks, Fred.